What's going on, Jerome's? So, a thing of beauty where the Minnesota Timberwolves, a.k.a. the basketball Vikings, completely win into Denver without Rudy Gobert, destroyed, taxed that ass, went into the den of the reigning, defending, alleged NBA champions and just completely kicked the crap out of them. I mean, probably the most impressive first half of basketball I've ever seen. And also the fact that the Denver Nuggets had to win game 2. After that embarrassment of game 1, they had to come out of this square before heading to Minneapolis. They couldn't be down 0-2, but amazing. Absolutely amazing. And also, ARPA Make It Sports is probably one of the best accounts on all social media. And so he says that he doesn't use AI, and the person just has a great eyeball and recollection for art. But I don't know, man. But either way, and flexing on the Denver crowd, they look very unimpressed. They should be more unimpressed by their team. And like Murray throwing crap on the court. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But again, knocking on all the wood, don't want to jinx it, but you know how Minnesota sports are. Now, Jonathan Grenard is new to the Minnesota sports scene. I mean, the pride of Florida, former Houston Texans, signed a nice little free agent deal here with the Vikings this offseason, but he's hopping on. Crazy the Wolves about to win it all. Cry, laughing emoji, fire emoji. Now, John, don't jinx it. Like, I know he hasn't been ingrained in Minnesota sports yet, but you would never last an hour in the asylum that I was raised. You merely adopted the darkness. I was born into it, molded by it. But, again, knocking on all the wood, 10 more to go. 10 more to go for Mike Yeo. Speaking of, I don't have a transition, but so J.J. McCarthy. Now, quarterback of the future, but the question is the future now? Now, I have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold. I think that he's finally going to be in a situation surrounded by talent with adults coaching him. It's going to be good. But, I mean, McCarthy, him being the future, and, of course, looking at what C.J. Stroud did last year, could the Vikings kickstart my heart and get McCarthy going early in the season, potentially even week 1? Purple Persuasion put this together. According to the voice of the Vikings, PA on the mic, on KFan 9 to noon, he believes J.J. McCarthy is closer to being the starting quarterback week 1 compared to how he felt last week. Now, there hasn't been any inputs. I mean, rookie camp is still this weekend, so there hasn't been anything on the field. Basically what it is, PA talking to people in the know, talking to people in the building, and getting a vibe from their vibe. This is what he said, quote, "I'm starting to learn more about him from other people." I just said that. Who know more about it than me and us, or putting in my own work. I'm really excited about him, and I'm also not willing. I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but I'm closer to believing that he can play game 1 against whoever than I was, say, last week. So basically saying, had some time to marinate on it, thinking his own thoughts, as well as talking to some people in the know in the building that maybe McCarthy could be it. And I'm excited because this is a legitimate quarterback competition where both guys are good. Like, this is not Gus Frerotte versus T-Jack, rest in power, from back in the day. This is a spot where I think Sam Darnold still has all the potential in the world. He's still relatively young. He was the number 3 overall pick for a reason. And also, I mean, McCarthy is going to be it. He's the hand-picked guy, the chosen one that Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi are betting their careers on. So if it's Darnold, I'm good. If it's McCarthy, fantastic. I'm good either way. Also, so I know I've said my piece about how I questioned the Khyree Jackson pick. All right, so super raw coming in, only 14 starts in his career, got suspended at Alabama, as well as is 25 years old to start the season. But the more you scratch this kid's lotto ticket in terms of personality, he's hilarious, man. And also, he can't coach size. He's got elite size on the outside, and I think he could be very interesting in the Flores defense. Vikings fan page puts together. Vikings DB coach Durante Jones spent time with Khyree Jackson at the Senior Bowl and noticed the potential in him immediately. Jones had a 30-minute one-on-one conversation with Jackson after practice and eventually took him in the 4th round of the draft. Now, And Khyree Jackson's also a 30 visit for the Vikings, so he got great conversation with Brian Flores as well. Durante Jones, I'm sure, was there too. So that's the value of the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, NFLPA Bowl, is getting to know these guys one-on-one, see how they practice, see how they do around other alphas and other competition, picking up new things, picking up new playbooks on the fly, sometimes playing different positions, which could scale to the NFL. And there's a lot of value with that. So I'm glad that the Vikings did their diligence with Jackson. I'm glad that they put their on the table and said, hey, he's going to be our guy. Also, again, like I said, the more I learn about Kyree's personality, the more I love him. So it's been discussed at length that he had a bunch of random jobs before playing JUCO ball, before going to Bama, before having his breakout season last year at Oregon. He's already the deli meat slicer cut that meat, but this is great. So Alec Lewis, the Athletic, had a great profile on him. Go check it out. But I love this excerpt. Khyree did not like it. So working one of his random jobs, I think it was custodian at Six Flags. So he applied elsewhere and got a job at Chipotle. He liked serving customers sizable portions of chicken and told his mother that the manager chastised him for spooning out too much per bowl. When I go to Chipotle, Ebony says, they don't add enough chicken. And now you know why. If you put too much chicken, you can get fired. So Khyree Jackson, man of the people. He wants you to get your money's worth. And I love that about him. Again, the more Khyree Jackson and Keon Coleman are probably the two most low-key hilarious people to come out of this draft. It's really fantastic, man. Also hilarity. So Burt Breer and his Monday morning quarterback just casually put down what's going on in the Kurt situation. So this is an excerpt. So basically, Kurt, one of the reasons why he left Minnesota, besides the Vikings not budging on giving him the bag like the Falcons did, is that the Vikings were very upfront with Kurt that they were going to draft his replacement. Here's why. A reason he decided to leave Minnesota is because the Vikings were very upfront with 35-year-old about the possibility that even in the case he stayed, they take a quarterback of the future high in the draft. I just said that. Tying that together with the team's willingness to guarantee part of, but not all of, a second year on another contract, Cousins figured that if he stayed, there would be a good shot that he'd be on the move in 2025. And also, does he know that Julie's from Georgia? I don't know. But, I mean, Kurt's really not a dummy, right? I mean, Kurt is a lot of things, but he's not a dummy. So you would think that, okay, so the Vikings were originally at 11, and they were going to draft the quarterback of the future. Like, he didn't notice that the Falcons were at 8. Or maybe that's why he spouted off about the tampering stuff, because maybe he was trying to get them to lose number 8. But either way, they got Penix, and it's a weird dynamic because you just paid Kurt a buttload of money, and Penix is one of the quarterbacks that, I mean, he's ready to go now. Like, he's older, he's mature, he's ready to rock and roll. It's going to be interesting, man. Also interesting. So the whole thing about it is that, you shouldn't redistribute numbers because that's disrespectful. On a 90-man roster, especially when you've retired, 6 numbers already, there isn't really a lot of room. So numbers get used, right? And Tristan Jackson, who was number 9, feeling fine, the pride of Michigan State and Syracuse, eventually gave up number 9 for J.J. McCarthy, TBD if there was some sort of financial transaction there. So I love when it's not just like, hey, I'll give you 40 racks for the number. It's like, hey, because, what was it? Oh, Nate Stanley, the pride of Iowa. I think he was from Wisconsin originally. So his high school team needed new equipment or uniforms, something like that. And he was number 7. And then Patrick Peterson came over from the Cardinals. And I believe the exchange was P squared buying some new equipment or uniforms for Nate Stanley's high school team. So I love that. As opposed to, I don't know, give me $100,000. But Tristan Jackson switch from 9 to number 8. So date with an 8. 8 is great. Back in circulation. That's right, man. So he's down in the Sam Bradford number, the Ryan Longwell number. Also, so the Vikings got Dallas Turner at number 17, which is huge value, right? And yes, they traded up with the Jaguars, going from 23 to 17 and giving up that 5th-round pick as well in 2024, plus a future 3rd and 4th, right? And Kwesi's been chastised about giving up the bag, but you still got your guy. But reciprocally, on the other side of the trade, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars got their guy as well. And PFF, I think it was Timo, did up a list. Best trade, Jaguars trade back with the Minnesota Vikings round 1. So, hey, we're part of something. We're part of something great. This is what he wrote. Though the Jaguars went against the grain on my big board for a few of their selections, most notably Mason Smith. All right, so also, what bugs me about immediate draft grades is basically it's just how well did the team draft compared to my big board? They took a number of my big board guys, so they did well. They deviated from my big board, so they did poorly. Yeah, whatever. Then their trade back from 17-23 with the Vikings brought them a serious return while still allowing them to grab a player who fit their needs in Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, so BTJ is going to do good things, physical freak receiver for Trevor Lawrence, and the Vikings get their talisman on the edge in Dallas Turner. I feel like everyone wins. And also, sizable haul. Serious return. Serious return. So a fifth, which they took the backup Texas running back. Cool. I mean, they still have Etienne and Tank Bigsby, don't they? Cool. And then a future third and a fourth. But I was told that the hit rate for third and fourth round picks is low. But serious return. Jacksonville dropped 6 spots in round 1 to get back a fifth in 2024, a third and a fourth. I just said that. Per Timo Risky's trade value numbers, that was an estimated wins above replacement gain of 0.37, making them clear winners of the trade from a value standpoint. Also, who cares? I mean, if it works out, it was worth it. If it doesn't work out, it was never worth it. That's how I feel about things. God, I feel like a crotchety old man. Speaking of crotchety old men, so the Tom Brady roast is quite frankly the funniest thing that I've seen in a long time. And I think it's something that our nation and society needs to heal. But yeah, making fun of Tom Brady. I mean, he lost his wife. He also lost $30 million in crypto. He also lost 2 Super Bowls to the Giants, but he won. He allegedly won a bunch. But so what's great is that he had a line about Deflategate, right? And talk about Goodell, and he said the NFL spent $20 million on the investigation of Tom Brady, and if he deflated footballs or instructed those 2 jabronis to deflate the footballs, and found that it was more probable than not that I was generally aware that someone may have deflated my footballs. You could have just given me the $20 million and I would have just told you I effing did it. Now, a lot of people were clutching their pearls like, oh, did he just admit about Deflategate? First off, who cares? Second of all, so the Vikings assistant to the regional GM right now is Ryan Grigson, who used to be GM of the Colts, and he ruined Andrew Luck because he couldn't build an offensive line. But also, allegedly, he is the one who was the whistleblower on the Patriots Deflategate thing. So he said at halftime of their playoff game, you better check those footballs, as they were getting the tar kicked out of them. And then the second half was even worse. But so I blame Ryan Grigson for Deflategate. That is all. Because I think that's when I mentally checked out of national sports coverage. Because every single day, atmospheric pressures. You got Belichick coming on talking about my cousin Vinny crap, and also at the end of the day, does it matter? Like, does it give a 0.00001% competitive advantage? Maybe, but of course, like Patriots were habitual line steppers when it comes to that, and this only blew up because it was the Patriots and because it was Tom Brady. If Blake Bortles was doing this with the Jaguars, it would be a non-story. And also, some other quarterbacks come out and said, like, yeah, we like our bowels inflated or deflated, past the accepted range. Right, so it was just so stupid. And also, the fact that they burned $20 million investigating this, like, you had former senators and crap getting involved. And it's like, no. Like, Brady obviously isn't admitting it, but he's just like, hey, if you're going to waste that money, I'll just say I did it and serve my suspension, which he did. It's just ridiculous, man. Speaking of Michigan, so Brad Meltzer, the author of the books that your mom's probably reading. Hey, Tom Brady, we missed you today. Go Blue. Love you, Desmond Howard, Blake Corman, J.J. McCarthy. Also, I kind of like that J.J. McCarthy isn't on the old Twitter machine. But our guy, future franchise quarterback J.J. McCarthy, joined Meltzer as well as Diamond Desmond Howard. Although, we don't talk about Desmond Howard's NFL career. No, but he was good at Michigan. Also, Blake Corum, good do good things out there with the Rams. Great. But so they were at Michigan's commencement over the weekend. And what's impressive, So JJ McCarthy graduates from Michigan, which is allegedly like a good higher education establishment. It's not Winona State, but then again, what can be? And McCarthy, so he graduated in 3 years with all of the added crap of being the quarterback of a national champion football team. So props to JJ McCarthy. Again, I feel like McCarthy is such a Boy Scout, but he's legitimately a Boy Scout, right? Work hard, take your vitamins. Don't do sleep and get 8 hours of drugs. I mean, don't do drugs and get 8 hours of sleep. He's literally Captain America, but legitimately. Like, I don't think that this is a front. I don't think that you're suddenly going to find like 20 bodies buried under his porch. Wow, that got dark. No, he is legitimately a good, like, if I had a sister, I would want JJ McCarthy to date my sister. It's a complete 180 from Stephon Diggs. Actually, that would be a good question for 96 questions, because once they get to know JJ McCarthy, I feel like he's going to be the default answer. So there you go. But props to McCarthy. Also props to Brad Meltzer. Good job, man. Anyways, that is it. That's Vikings news up for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.